Hello and welcome to About 6 Acres. I'm Juana.
And I'm Nick.
And today we're in the garden. We're going to be taking care of some things that we absolutely need to do. It is such a pretty day today. It's just gorgeous. I love days like this when the sky is so blue and clear, no clouds in the sky, and it's actually really, really pleasant and not humid outside. It's just perfect. We are going to be working on planting some potatoes because we need to get them in the ground. Typically we plant our potatoes around President's Day, so we're not that late. But because of the weather and the freezing weather that we had, we wanted to give it a little bit of time. Nick and I are going to try to divide and conquer. I don't know if this is going to work, but hopefully. So he's going to be doing the planting and setting up and getting everything together. I'm going to be working on sifting some of the compost that we have. And we've shared a little bit of our compost before. We've moved this compost probably 3 times since we've lived here in completely different areas. And so right now it's a lot of a mess. We do need to build a new system, and that's probably something that we'll tackle later this year. But having the compost here has really helped us out with some of the water that comes off this incline. It really does slow it down, and it's also helping out with a lot of the soil that was here because it was very sandy and hard clay, but it's actually been helping quite a bit, and the chickens have been really good about stirring it. So that's what I'm going to be working on, is sifting. I'm going to go get something to sift with and fill the wheelbarrow, and I'll be back.
For our potatoes, I think we're going to use 2 beds here, one where our carrots are. We're going to pull the rest of the carrots, add some compost in here to raise the level up, and then where we had our peppers, I'm going to add more compost to there because we don't have that many of each variety. We have about like 6 seed potatoes for each variety, so I think that'll give us enough space in here. Probably put two rows in here and 2 rows in there.
We had gotten these from our local nursery, and we only got a few of each one. So these are red Lesota. These are red Potamic. We got some Kennebec, which these have actually done really well for us. And you can see where they're already sort of sprouted. I don't even know what it's called, but check those out. Aren't they cool? It's like the most alien looking thing. Pretty cool. And we got the Yukon Gold.
Got some carrots that we didn't pull, and they're very small, fragile, but I think they're going to be a lot sweeter since they're tiny. I'm going to have them to snack on. Probably have it roasted with our chicken today, so not too bad. A lot more successful this year with carrots. Not like gigantic carrots, but sweet snacking carrots. And so we're going to use our little action hoe or stirrup hoe in here to just break up any weeds that we have. Get that top surface broken up from sitting over the winter. So in this one bed we have our compost added. I've made some furrows in here. So we're going to put 2 varieties, and we're going to stagger the potatoes. We'll have one in the corner and then one offset. That way we can tell which variety is which. To add more organic material to the beds, I had these old mushroom grow substrates that I did not inoculate. So it's got like a soybean and like wood pellet substrate in there. So there's some fertilizer from the soybean in, but you know, it's a very fine material. You can see very fine, so I can put that in there to add other nutrients in the bed. So this one has got 2 bags. I'm going to add a bag over here with some of the compost that's in the wheelbarrow. Here's the Microlife granular fertilizer that I'll put in each furrow, each trench. So this has a 624 MPK, so it's very low, slow release. We'll also do like a foliar spray throughout the season as well to put in there, and then add granular fertilizer a couple times during the growth season. So we got our compost added and our other organic material that was the unused mushroom substrate, and then I'm going to add the Microlife fertilizer in the trench before I put the potatoes down. And again, you want something that has potassium in it, so the NPK value, the K value, you want a little high. You can buy specific potato fertilizer, like certain potash or even some wood ash if you want, but this is a slow release. Just gonna put it in my trench before I add my potatoes. And we're gonna do 2 varieties of potatoes in this bed. Make sure I get enough in there. And then there's some, again, nutrient value in the compost too, because it's got some of the goat manure that's been composting, some of the chicken manure. So I'm gonna put those in. I'm gonna start off with our red Lesotas. We got 6 in here, so we can space them out pretty evenly. I'm just gonna take them all out. And these are the red Lesotas. They're already eyeing out, and we're gonna plant them whole. So we're not gonna cut them or do anything. And so now, since we have 6, we'll just do an even spacing. Try to do an even spacing. And then we'll alternate with the other variety on the other side. We have red Lesotas here, the Yukon Gold on the other side. We'll do these in between. So we'll do a little offset. So that should give me a little zigzag. So that should be good. So as they grow and there's more leaf structure, what we'll do is we'll mound up some more of the dirt, maybe add some more compost to sort of hill both sides. So then you're encouraging more of the tubers to form in that big mound. We'll probably even use some of the nesting pads when we clean out the girls' pens to sort of add as mulch and mound in there. So that will work. Now we're just gonna bury them and water them in lightly and move on to the next bed. Potatoes. We have this bed prepped again with our layers of compost and the mushroom substrate that we put in there with the soybean and the wood pellets. And we added our microlife fertilizer in the trench. And so we're going to do 2 varieties, the red Potamic and the Kennebec. So we're going to do 4 here, and then the remaining we're going to put in a grow bag again, because we like to experiment. And hopefully this year we can manage the grow bag better than last year. So we got a few of these that are eyeing out. I'll put these back here. And then our reds, do slightly, we'll do this one over here. pressed in a little bit, and then we're just gonna cover them up. So we're going to water these in lightly. The compost is pretty moist, so we're not going to go heavy on the water, but we're just going to water it in so that fertilizer can start acting and adding nutrients. And you don't want to add so much water that it's going to waterlog and then rot your potatoes. So if you know you're going to have several days of rain after you plant, maybe don't water until it starts to rain. And then once they sprout, once the leaves come out, just monitor the health of those leaves. If they look yellow or too soggy, hold off on the water, let it dry out, and they should be fine.
In truth, it's like 70 degrees outside, but honestly, the sun feels a lot hotter than I thought, so I'm ready to call it a day.
Yeah, thank you for coming along and planting potatoes with us. We're so excited. Potatoes is probably one of the easiest crops for us to grow. Looking forward to it. A lot of mashed potatoes, potato salad, roasted potatoes, some shepherd's pie. Got a lot of recipes in mind. Can't wait. Thanks again for joining with us as we planted our potatoes. Really looking forward to a good harvest this year. Drop us a comment if you're planning on planting potatoes and what varieties you put in the ground this year.
Thank you so much for watching.
And always remember, you're awesome and you're loved.
Until next time.